Is there an area of your home that's just like driving you insane? Do you want to know how exactly you can get that area reorganized? Don't worry, I have you covered. In this video, I am going to show you how to reorganize any area of your home so that it works for you and your family. Now for me, I am going to be reorganizing a cabinet in my kitchen. I'm going to be following all the steps that you will be using in order to reorganize your home in the same way. I'm Jessica, the Organized Mama. I'm a family organizing expert that helps you with organizing tips, tricks, and tutorials the entire family can do. So you are ready to reorganize your house. I'm so excited. But you might not need to reorganize everything. So the very first thing we're going to do is look at areas that need a reorganization. For me, it is this hot mess cabinet space thing that I have going on here. There are other areas of our house that we also have to set up and reorganize. And so with that, I'm going to be using these steps. So step one is make the plan. The plan is what specific areas are bothering you. Walk around your house, take note, figure out what is not working. Some questions to ask when you're figuring out, is this working? Does this space work where anybody can pull out something and put it back where it belongs? For us, no. Nobody can open up this drawer without something falling all over the place. So we know that's not working. Another thing to ask yourself is this organizing system or just kind of like organized area, is it working for me? Is it working for my family? Is there something I might need to tweak so that it can work better? Those are great spots to start when reorganizing your house. You can also look at the flow of your house and determine if something is working in that space or not. When we built our kitchen and then set up this area, this was supposed to be all of our serving platters and plates and bowls and china and all of that. Well, we ended up turning our china into our everyday wear, and that's when this happened. So that's a good time to sit and reevaluate the space. After you've reevaluated, is this actually working? Then you're going to start taking action. And by action, that means taking everything out of one area you are going to work on. Don't try and reorganize everything. You're going to get so overwhelmed. I have a ton of useful tips down below for how you can determine what areas are working and what's not. So once you figure out what your plan is, it's time to take everything out of the space. Why, yes, we do hoard napkins. Once everything is removed, it is time to clean up the drawers. I mean, there's no point in putting anything back in your space when your space is dirty. Clean it. Use this as an opportunity to just kind of do a whole reset. So clean the space. Now that our space is clear, it's time to start putting back items that we actually use. But while you're putting those items back, make sure that it makes sense where they're going, because this always was a dumping ground for us. So it's time to change that and give this a purpose. So as I'm pulling and putting things back that we actually use, I'm also going to make sure I give everything a specific purpose. All right, so I know on this first shelf, I love having all of our napkins. So I'm going to make sure all of our napkins can fit on this first shelf. So we're Jewish, these are kippas, you wear them at specific occasions. So as you can see, we have a few. So our kippas and our napkins are gonna go up here. I also was using this to hold napkins. And since that was empty, guess what? Time for a refill. There we go. Now I have a whole drawer with a purpose for our napkins. And that works out great. I love that. I want to keep that just like that. The next drawer, I want to put things like our table runners. We had placemats. I'm just kind of like doing a quick survey of the items that I have out that I know I want to store here, because I love switching out the table runners. So I want to keep those here. So I'm pulling the items that I actually use. Table runners. We do have placemats. We have a lot of placemats. So let's actually take a look at our placemats. All of the round ones we do use. I have a lot of square ones and we never use those. So I can donate those and part with them. I do also like using this sometimes for decorative. So I'm going to keep that as well. Now we also have tablecloths that I'd like a spot to store those. And so I have tablecloths here that I like to use, and these tablecloths as well. Actually, I don't really like these tablecloths, so why am I holding on to them? Donate. Okay, so again, I'm just putting things in that I know I need to keep in this vicinity. So now I want our school lunch boxes. Here we go. I want the kids' lunch boxes and, you know, their boxes in the boxes. I want them here. We also have a lot of recipes in a binder that don't fit up in the cabinet. So it would be nice if they could all stay here with the kids' lunch boxes. So these are all things that I want to keep down here so we can easily access them. They're easily accessible, let's say that. So I want to keep them down here where they're easily accessible, and I have space for them down here. Now we have candles. I actually can put the candles up here because they go with the kippas or Shabbat candles. So that makes sense putting them together with where they are. Now this shelf, things aren't laid out as well, but the goal of the step of just putting things back that you use was so you could actually see what you use. Everything that's left over, I can find another home or spot in our house for all of these extra napkins. We have other space in our house that we can use for that purpose. So they don't need to go in here. This doesn't need to be that dumping ground. So I can find another spot. I have a lot of stuff now I can donate because I don't use those placemats or those tablecloths anymore. So I don't need to hold on to them or let them take up space in my house. But this drawer, I want to make sure is a little more functional for how we use it, because when the kids set the table, they're going to just pull and it's going to turn into a mess. So knowing how they use the table or this drawer, I'm going to have to just kind of come up with a different layout of where things go. So I have this tablecloth. Here we go. We can do this table runner. Honestly, it really only used during the holidays. So I can store this with holiday stuff. It doesn't need to be stored with my other table runners. Here. And then I have this one as well. There are my, then I can store them. And then knowing how the kids pull, there we go. Now I made the drawer much more functional for how the kids and myself use it. Is this Pinterest organized? No. Is this functional for us? Totally. So boom, there we go. These actually are for our table. So I'm going to put them up here. And I'm going to put them near the candles because I know, again, when we expand the table, we usually have family over and we need all of these things. These go for those. These I can put downstairs with extra supplies, and these are chargers, which I can stick with our chargers. Now, everything has a spot. Everything can go somewhere, and I gave everything a purpose. So that is your goal when you're going to reorganize your home. You're going to look at your space. You are going to create a plan. What do you want that spot to do? Only put back items you use, and then figure out a plan for everything else that's left on the floor. So for us, I know our napkins, I'm going to store somewhere else. I have items that need to go in our holiday decor. I have items that need to go with electric chargers. So all of those things have other spots. They don't need to be stored here. And that is what I want you to do when you reorganize your home. Down below, I have a lot more tips on how to reorganize your home. This is just one way that I have found the most effective when you're reorganizing your home. Now the last step, and this is crucial, label it. Add a Post-it note for what each shelf is so that you know and your family knows so you can keep it organized. I promise you it's going to help. Just keep the Post-it note on, who cares? Again, you're making it functional for you. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be functional. Love what you see? Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every Wednesday.